Good morning, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's Kubus Meraki as a Service webinar. It's great to see so many of you join today. We know everyone's really, really busy, so appreciate everyone joining, and hopefully you'll find this session beneficial. So we've got a great panelist of speakers joining me today. Just to introduce myself, my name is Sophie Mitchell. I'm the Cisco Vendor Manager here at Kubus. Joining me today is Mr. Paul Bonner, who's our Technical Director. He'll introduce himself in a moment. And we've also got Kay Kamdar, who is one of the Meraki leads, UK team leads at Meraki. She works very closely with both customers and channel partners such as ourselves. Just a quick look at the agenda. We've got lots of great content to get through for the next 30-40 minutes. In a moment, I'm going to pass you over to Paul, who will introduce you to Kubus, who we are as a company, what we do, and hopefully some of the value that we can bring to your business. He will then hand over to Kay, who's going to give you an overview of Meraki, look at some of the common customer challenges they see and the benefits that a cloud-based network can bring. And then back over to Paul, who's going to run through the Kubus Managed Service offering and take a closer look at some of our Meraki as a Service packages. We will finish off with a short Q&A at the end, but if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please do pop them in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll look to address them at the end. So without further ado, I am going to hand over to Paul. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. I'll just start sharing my screen. A bit of introduction to me. My name is Paul Bonner. I'm the Technical Director at Kubus. I've been here for 22 years next month, so basically since the business started, and I'm responsible for everything technical. So I look after the technical team of engineers. I also look after product vendors, new technologies. Pretty much everything that comes technical into our business goes through me and the team. And occasionally I still go out to site. So I'm actually working this weekend. We're moving a data center. Me and the team are up in Woking and Slough, moving a data center between two locations. As Sophie said, if you do get any questions as we go through, don't feel scared to ask them. Put them in the chat and we'll go through them at the end of the presentation. So a little bit about us as a business. Who are Kubus? We were formed back in 2003 as Harbour.com. We were at the time one of the largest sources of second user networking equipment in Europe. Our business grew at its height back then. Our stock holding was about £5 million worth of excess inventory stock. We rebranded as we went through to become hardware, and then a couple of years ago we became Kubus. Our annual turnover is about 40 million, and we're on track to sort of increase that over the next 2 to 3 years. In 2013 we started to focus more on vendors and official partnerships, and we moved away from that second user business. At the moment we partner obviously with Cisco and other leading manufacturers in the networking and security space. We've built long-standing relationships with our customers. Our sort of premise is we don't just sell boxes, we actually build those relationships with customers. Typically I think at the moment I look after 2 customers, one being Forcepoint and one being European Weather. European Weather, a consortium of European countries who put money into a pot and they manage the weather forecasting across Europe. And I've dealt with both of those, I think Forcepoint since 2012 and European Weather since about 2015. So we build these long-standing relationships with our customers. The technologies we cover, obviously networking. We were predominantly originally a networking company. We've moved more recently into security. We've got various security products within our portfolio, server and storage across leading vendors in that space, and emerging technologies. So some of the exciting new AI technologies, IoT, that sort of thing. We're moving more into those new technologies that our customers are requesting. Our capabilities, pre-staging, where we take equipment, we pre-stage it. We'll talk about that throughout this presentation. Network design, we do the implementation, so we can go out to site and actually deploy the equipment. We can do the logistics, so we can get the devices where they need to be, and that includes full IOR services, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And we also do support. We are a support partner for a number of our vendors where we provide the actual network support on behalf of the vendor. So we pretty much cover everything that customers require of us. The areas that we sort of look after within the business is we work with customers to identify requirements. So basically, we're not a box shifter. We match technology to actual customer requirements. We don't just try and shoehorn boxes in. As mentioned, we build the long-term relationships with our customers. On the design side, we can look after things like high-level design, low-level design, where we actually create the design of the network. We identify how it's going to be deployed. We can do the bill of materials. So once we're talking to customers, we can create bill of materials of what equipment that they need. The sales guys can quote, and then we can move it into a project. We can look at proof of concept. So we can get equipment from our various vendors. Meraki, a prime example where we can get equipment in from Meraki, put it onto customer site or run it internally, where we set up a demo environment or a proof of concept. We can pre-stage, where this is particularly good is for large rollout projects where we take equipment, CPE type equipment, we load configurations, and then we actually ship out to the remote location where it needs to be deployed. We can load the latest software onto devices before they ship, so we can actually put on a known working version of software or an agreed version of software, and also load things like configuration files, as I've said. So that can be supplied by us as a business, or it could be supplied by the customer. So we can actually get devices ready to be deployed out on site. We tend to soak test for 48 hours. So all equipment tends to go through our technical operations center. It's soak tested to make sure it's operational. And we can build complete environments. So for example, if you're deploying a large network, we can actually deploy that within the technical operations center, build it to its size, make sure everything's working. We can run FAT tests against it. So that's where we test each individual component. We run through tests such as pulling cables, shutting devices down to see how the network reacts to failure conditions. We can also provide VPN access, so we can give customers the ability to log into the network remotely, or you can come on site. We've had many customers come into our offices in Kemble and bringing other systems to actually test them on the network before deployment. So it's a nice way of seeing a network operational and running bespoke systems on there. In this case of large-scale rollouts, we can do things like adding accessories. We can put asset tags on the devices before they ship, and then we can add other information to the box for the engineer. So for example, if a customer takes 20 or 30 devices from them, we actually label each box to say where it's going to go. So it just helps out with that implementation on site. As mentioned, we do the logistics. So we do full global shipping. So we ship to pretty much every country globally, or we have done. We can provide full IOR services. That's import of record. So if customers haven't got an entity within that country, we can use our IOR service where all taxes and duty is paid in advance, and then the customer just basically reimburses us for that, so we can actually get that equipment to where it needs to go. And we've basically built up relationships with the large carriers, so pretty much all the major carriers we tend to work with to enable us to get equipment where it needs to go. We can consolidate shipments, so if we're shipping out to a remote location, we can consolidate, so removing things like unwanted packaging. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but we can actually get those shipments down to reduce the actual cost and reduce waste and packaging that goes to those remote locations. And we can ship to DC locations. So we do a lot of work with data centers globally with the large providers, Digital Reality, Equinix, people like that. And we can raise all the paperwork required to actually get the equipment into those larger data centers. On the support side, we offer full 24/7, 365 support, and that's sort of vendor type support where we do the first and second line, and then we pass on to the vendor at level 3. We also we go to the vendor at level 3, and we provide also the RMA, so the vendor does all the RMA stuff for us. On the installation side, we can cover off installations using our in-house expertise or a partnership. So we've got an ecosystem of various partners globally that we can use to actually provide implementations. At the moment, we're running through, we just finished some examples. We just finished a head office deployment for a large online retail company. They moved between locations, and we fitted out their new head office with Wi-Fi and a network and also some firewalls as well. So we sort of take on those large projects. And another project that's just been completed is Wi-Fi installation in a large warehouse. One of our customers provides equipment into a certain industry. I won't go too deep into it. And we were challenged with installing Wi-Fi into a large warehouse. I think the racks themselves were sort of 20, 30 feet high. The challenge there was putting the access points in to one, provide the coverage that they needed with the handheld scanners and also the guys on forklifts, but also having the ability for those access points to be in a certain position that if they got hit by the machinery, they wouldn't just drop off the ceiling. So we produced some custom brackets that were on chains. So basically, as the machine hits it, the access point swings out of the way and then swings back to its location. So we're pretty good at implementing various access points and networking equipment in challenging environments. So a little bit about Kubus and sustainability. We aim to reduce our carbon footprint by 50% by 2030, and we tend to recycle the majority of the packaging that comes in. If we're sending equipment out to remote locations, we tend to reduce a lot of that packaging and recycle it with us. We retained the Best Companies Award for 2024, which was a good piece of news for us recently. And our average tenure within the business is 4.7 years. So that, it's quite in the industry that we're in, for people to stay on average over 4 years, almost 5 years, is quite something. We've reduced our working hours for staff because we tend to put our staff first because we know they're a key part of our business. And we achieve the living wage accredited employer, which means that all of our staff are paid way above minimum wage. So we are putting our people first. We offer full e-waste reclamation. So if customers have old networking equipment, we can e-waste in a sustainable manner. And we partner with Young Gloucestershire, who are a local charity that support young people with challenges in Gloucestershire. We've recently completed a bake sale, and Ellie, I think it's on this webinar, even managed to make me bake a cake, which is fantastic. And we've raised about £17,000 for those guys through skydives and various other things. But we also help out the youngsters in their care. So we do a lot of CV writing and also mock interviews. So we help them with their next chapter of their lives. And we put a lot of work in with Young Gloucestershire. So if you are interested, please see the Young Gloucestershire website. With regards to Cisco sustainability, we are Cisco Sustainable certified in that we offer the full range of products, and we've been audited by Cisco last year, and we've met the metrics that are required. So we offer the trade-in program, the environmental trade-in, which means that if you've got old networking equipment that needs to be traded in, that can happen against new Cisco equipment with a forward discount, an upfront discount. And the good news about that is Cisco tend to reuse, as it says on the slide, 99% of returned equipment. So this stuff isn't going into e-waste, it is actually being reused, because in some customers, what old equipment that they have might be useful for someone else. We also offer the Cisco refresh program, which is basically the supply of equipment that is either used for things like demonstrations, it's excess inventory that's gone out to partners in the Cisco ecosystem that's not been required and come back into Cisco. It's fully tested. It comes with all things like the accessories that would have come with it from new. It's also available. SmartNet is also available against the equipment, so you can actually put a SmartNet contract against Cisco refresh. So it's the same as buying new, but it's also at significant discounts there, but it's also excess inventory that was never used. And we also provide Cisco GreenPay, which is a leasing option where customers are able to purchase a network on a certain lease. After a period of time, that network is refreshed as part of that lease, and then the lease continues, and the old equipment goes into the environmental trade-in program and gets reused elsewhere. So we are doing our bit for sustainability. So looking at customers, obviously I'm not going to name all of these customers for various reasons, but if you are in one of these market segments and you do want to talk to somebody that we deal with in your area, let us know and we can set up customer reference calls. But hopefully you can see from the slide, we don't tend to sort of specialize or put ourselves into a certain area. We cross multiple verticals. To give you some examples that are on the screen, so CPE equipment, I think I've mentioned for a large ISP, we do a complete rollout for a number of ISPs where the equipment is pre-staged and purchased through us. and we ship it to the remote install location, and those guys then install it. We've done cloud gaming platforms where the customer had all the equipment delivered to us, both server, storage, networking. We pre-staged it. We allowed remote connectivity from the customer, and then we sent the equipment over to the US where it was actually deployed. We've done large-scale rollouts. For an example is a builders merchants. They've got 400 UK locations, UK and Ireland locations, where we did a fully managed project in that all the equipment was pre-staged with us and then shipped out to those remote locations where our engineers or engineers of our partners met the devices and actually then installed them. And we provided like a full turnkey solution for the customer with full project management. In the blue light area, we've recently completed phase 2, but we completed phase 1 of the blue light network last year, where we took an existing network and refreshed the equipment, moved all the traffic out over the course of a weekend to a remote location, and then refreshed that network. And we, as I say, we just finished phase 2 of that, where the second part of the network has gone live, and that project's going to increase where remote stations will end up with new network equipment over the next 12 months. Final one for me on this slide is a UK fashion house. They came to us originally for point of sale deployment throughout Europe, and they just said, you know, could you manage a point of sale deployment? We weren't at the time a point of sale supplier, so we took on the project side of it. So we did the pre-staging of all the point of sale. We created a VPN into their network, and their support teams were able to load the configuration on the point of sale devices, and then we moved those devices through our testing labs. We made sure they're all working. We then added all the extra accessories, things like card readers, cash tills, and everything that they needed to deploy point of sale throughout Europe in each of their high-end stores. And then we shipped the devices out. We offered full project management and also on-site services. So we are able to deal with areas of technologies that aren't our core business. You know, the skills that we have for deployment and pre-staging sort of cover many areas of technology. And we have got a couple of more in-depth case studies to follow. So as mentioned earlier, I look after the technical team. We have 18 engineers within the team and certified at various levels. From Cisco, we've got everything from CCIE. I've been a CCIE now for 25 years. And we've also got CCNP, CCNA across all disciplines within Cisco's portfolio. We've all got a wide range of experience. You know, we've all been doing this for quite a long time, so we are able to deploy networks and look at technologies across multiple disciplines. And we've got specialists in security. We've got solutions architects in security, server and storage, networking, Wi-Fi, and data center. So we've pretty much got a wide range of experience and skills within the technical team. We offer pre and post sale support for our salespeople and our customers, and we work with excuse me, customers to define solutions. So as mentioned earlier, we define solutions rather than shifting boxes. We can create bill of materials based on the vendor portfolio. So that is a complete list of equipment that needs to be purchased to satisfy the requirements. And we do deployments, customer workshops where we sit down with customers for looking at things like deployments, how it's going to go in, how it's going to work when it's in the network. We also do on-site support, so we can have engineers traveling the globe either from ourselves or from third parties. Excuse me. If it's a third party, obviously it's all managed through Kubus itself. So we are the point of contact for all of our customers. We can do equipment moves, as mentioned. I'm doing a move this weekend. It's 130 servers between Slough and Woking. We've moved servers and data centers in the US. We've completed a couple this year. We did Ashburn, excuse me, Ashburn. We did Ashburn to Ashburn, which is about 2 miles, which wasn't really a challenge. We also did San Jose to Phoenix, which is about 816 miles. Yeah, that was quite a challenge to get that equipment across the continental US. We provide level 1 and level 2 support. As I've mentioned, we are a support partner, so we can do that level 1, level 2 triage of networking issues using our dedicated team, and that can be 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And we also provide links into the vendor supplied level 3 and RMA process. We've already mentioned pre-staging. To give you an idea what we're up to at the moment, we've got a new DC running through our pre-staging environment. I think it's about 20, if you're familiar with spine and leaf technology, it's about 4 spines, 20 leaves. So it's quite a big network that's going into a DC. And the customer is actually connecting remotely to run some final testing on that over the next couple of days. Volume-wise, we tend to get about 1,000 devices going through our technical operations centre a month. So it's quite a high volume department. There's a lot of devices come in, get configured, get tested, and then go out. And one of the reasons for this call, we provide 24/7 NOC support. So we do managed services across networking and other type of devices. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. So to give you an idea, some case studies. This is a customer we've been dealing with for a long time. They provide security into their customers, and we've built the majority of their data centers. At one point, I think they had 28 data centers globally, and we'd built about 19 of them. So yeah, we've pretty much supplied all the equipment, all the cabling that goes in. We help design the environments. We provide the pre-staging. We provide the on-site engineers to deploy it. And currently, I'm going through a process with these guys actually moving equipment between data centers. We're doing a final one, as I mentioned, this weekend. So we pretty much cover everything that the customer requires. It's a complete service for them. Second customer, as mentioned, we've talked about CPEs. For this customer, we do a lot of pre-configuration of CPE equipment. That covers things like UPSs, the CPEs themselves. It might do the OLTs, which are the optical units that go into the street cabs. And for those that know me, that's not me in that photograph, but it gives you an idea of a street cab and the equipment that's in there. What we do for those guys is we obviously take the equipment, we unbox it, we test it, we load the configuration, and we then ship it to the remote location ready to be installed by their engineering team. And that pretty much, well, that hopefully gives you an overview of Kubus, who we are. And as I say, if you do have any questions, please let us know in chat and we can answer at the end of the presentation. So I'll hand you back to Sophie, who'll be doing the slides, and Kay will give you the presentation around Meraki.
Thank you very much, Paul. Just give Sophie a second to get the slides sharing. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the call today. I've got some slides to run through, but that being said, I've looked at the average attention span on a morning webinar, so I'll do my best to try and keep it concise and informative. So my name is Kay Kamdar, and I've been at Meraki coming up to about 6 years. I'm the team leader for a team that covers customers across UK South. Next slide, please. I'm sure most of you on this call are familiar with the Meraki dashboard. The Meraki dashboard is a web-based browser tool that allows IT teams to supervise hundreds of networks and devices effortlessly through the cloud using only one device. The dashboard is essentially the centralized cloud management platform for all Meraki devices and services. The platform is a tie that binds all of our products together. Simply put, it reassures further investments for existing customers and encourages change for new ones. It makes it easier for customers to standardize and automate, helps them go faster, more consistently and predictably, and all in all, it makes it much easier to do business. Next slide, please. With Cisco, platforms, technologies, applications, networks, and solutions act as one to deliver. Firstly, operational simplicity. Customers see 57% of network management time saved and 51% overall OPEX savings. Secondly, secure networking. Customers see 60% security issue resolution time saved and 59% of configuration compliance checks time saved. And lastly, but not finally, hybrid work and sustainability. Customers see 48% improved mean time to resolution and 60% reduction in IT travel. Next slide, please. As part of the ways customers use our cloud platform, SMBs have told us the #1 differentiator is our intuitive dashboard. 94% of our customers say they've saved time using Meraki. As you can see, the Meraki dashboard empowers both IT and security teams to monitor and manage our entire portfolio of connected products in one place. When people first think of Meraki products, they usually think of our access offering, Wi-Fi, switching, and MDM. providing access to any user, device or application from the edge to the cloud whilst maintaining robust security. These products combine industry-leading Wi-Fi access points with powerful switching and mobile device management capabilities. The Cisco Meraki MR series is an enterprise-grade line of cloud-managed access points that leverage the award-winning Cisco Meraki cloud-managed architecture to provide powerful and intuitive centralized management whilst eliminating the cost and complexity of traditional on-site wireless controllers. The Meraki Cloud Managed Architecture allows users to seamlessly manage campus-wide Wi-Fi deployments and distributed multi-site networks with zero-touch access point provisioning, network-wide visibility and control, self-learning RF optimization, seamless firmware updates, and much, much more. The Cisco Meraki MS is the industry's first line cloud-managed access and aggregation switches, combining the benefits of cloud-based centralized management with a powerful, reliable access platform. With cloud management, thousands of switch ports can be configured and monitored instantly over the web. This provisions remote sites without an on-site IT, deploy network-wide configuration changes, and easily manage campus and distributed networks without training or dedicated staff. As Cisco's endpoint management solution, Cisco Meraki Systems Manager, which is MDM, supports a variety of platforms, allowing for the diverse ecosystem often found in today's mobile-centric world. This places Systems Manager in prime position to alleviate the concerns of security teams in various industries, empower teachers to run their digital classroom, and eases the burden of enterprise IT teams with distributed sites. Secure SD-WAN. The Cisco Meraki MX is a multifunctional security and SD-WAN enterprise appliance with a wide set of capabilities to address multiple use cases from an all-in-one device. Connect any user and every site to any application over the wide area network without compromising on security, speed, or user experience. Organizations of all sizes and across all industries rely on the MX to deliver secure connectivity to hub locations or multi-cloud environments, as well as application quality of experience through advanced analytics with machine learning. The MX is again 100% cloud managed, so installation and remote management is truly zero touch, making it ideal for distributed branches, campuses, and data center locations. Moving on to cloud security, these are add-on Cisco offerings such as Cisco Duo, Cisco Secure Connect, and Cisco Secure Endpoint. Connected IoT solutions. Now, when you think of Meraki, probably the last products you think of sit within this IoT offering. Meraki MV cameras and sensors allows companies to create intuitive, smart, and secure experiences for guests, employees, and students with our suite of our cloud-first cameras, sensors, and IoT applications. The Cisco Meraki MV Smart Camera family brings simplicity and data-powered intelligence to the world of physical security. Every MV model comes with a powerful processor, the same kind found in many of today's smartphones, and an innovative architecture that minimizes physical infrastructure as well as software requirements. These smart cameras not only help ensure physical safety and security, but can also provide advanced business intelligence. MV smart cameras pack fast processing power, robust security features, and sophisticated analytics into a refreshingly simple package. The Meraki MT sensor family intelligently monitors indoor environments to help organizations build a smarter, more sustainable future. With MT sensors, IT, facilities, and operations teams can minimize business disruptions, reduce unnecessary costs, maximize resources, and improve employee customer experiences. The MT range includes an array of products, including an indoor temperature and humidity sensor, an indoor air quality sensor, a water leak detection sensor, a door open-close sensor, an indoor smart power controller, and an indoor-outdoor smart automation button. Next slide, please. So in short, if you're new to Meraki, the Meraki cloud-first platform eliminates the complexity of bringing networking and analytics together. Meraki provides connectivity, security, and intelligence that bridges the gap between IT, IoT, and the physical environment. There will be a follow-up after today's call where you can be introduced to your dedicated Meraki AM who can help facilitate a Meraki dashboard demo and provide any more information on anything I've discussed in more detail. Next slide, please. Lastly, before I pass back over to Paul, we're fast approaching Cisco's end of year, which is the end of July. And the rumour mill is correct in saying it is the perfect time to take advantage of discounts and promotions and begin or expand your current Cisco portfolio. You can check out some of the promos we have that are listed on this slide, but now's the perfect time to get quotes if you're planning for any upcoming projects. And with that, I will hand back over to Paul. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Kay. Hopefully that's given everyone an overview of Meraki and the products. And as we say, if you do need to know any more information, talk to us at Kubus and we can provide that. So moving forward, we're going to talk a little bit about managed services and what we can offer from Kubus. A couple of questions on the slide. What is a managed service? So it could be different things to different people. So basically, it's the management of a network by a third party. So it's outsourcing certain aspects of the network management, whether it's configuration, whether it's support, whether it's software upgrades, to a third party. And it can be the whole of the network, or it can be a small part. We have customers that give us certain aspects of the network. So one in particular, we look after their firewalls, where they look after the actual network itself, so the switches and the routers. So it can be whatever the customer needs it to be. We provide monitoring, so we can look at things like thresholds. We can set thresholds on devices. We can look at things like disk usage on servers. We can look at memory usage, utilization of switch ports. We can use vendor supplied dashboards. In the case of Meraki, we would use the Meraki dashboard, or we can use on-site probes that link into the devices via something like SNMP. All alerts are sent to our own version of the dashboard, so our engineers basically see what the customer can see, so we can highlight what's going on the network should there be issues. And we can also provide things like adds, moves, and changes, where customer asks for a change on, say, for example, a port profile or change of VLAN, Wi-Fi, SSID, something like that. And then that change is completed by our engineers rather than those of the customers. And that's in line with the customer change control process. So they raise a ticket on our support portal. We then evaluate the change, discuss it with the customer, the timings, and then we go off and implement that change. When we receive alerts from the Meraki dashboard, we can flag that to the customer. We actually we update them. We've seen a problem. We basically can run that 24/7. So we have various support packages which we'll go through in a moment, and that can be 24/7 or within business hours. And we can view and manage those devices remotely, so we can actually look at those devices remotely from our NOC and manage the configurations and operation of those devices. We can also manage third-party support. So if a device is under support by somebody else, it's got some other support contract that's running at the moment, we can actually manage the interaction into that support partner when we identify issues. People ask us, why managed services? Various customers choose managed services for various reasons. It can be they have small support teams. So for example, they haven't got the number of engineers that they require to offer support on the network. It might be a cost thing. They haven't got the engineers, or they don't want to provide something like 24/7 support of the network. The network needs to be operational at all times, but they haven't got the engineers there out of hours. It can allow their engineering teams to get on with other things such as projects. So it takes away that business as usual, adds, moves, changes, management away from the overstretched IT teams, and it allows them to get on with enhancements, to get on with the projects that really require to enhance the network and bring it forward. And there can be cost savings, as I mentioned. Engineers and having a large team of engineers might not suit certain businesses. They might want to have a team of individuals such as ourselves sat there managing the network for them. The tiers that we offer, there's three main tiers of managed services. The first one, what we would tend to put against equipment that's not mission critical. This is bronze support. So this is during normal business hours, and it might be for something like an access point or something like that, that if it goes off air, it doesn't really matter. the network will recover and it'll carry on and it'll be operational, but it's the customer wants to know whether the actual device is actually alive on the network. It's simple green-red monitoring. If the device goes offline for any reason, the dashboard goes red, the probe tells us that there's an issue and we update the customer. The customer then manages the whole support of that device. So it's a very low-end support. Where it's good is, excuse me, things like remote offices. So if you've got a remote office, excuse me, that's happening in my throat today. If you've got like a remote office out there and you've got equipment that's in service and you want to know whether it's operational, this bronze is pretty much tailored for that. As we move through to silver, we get all of those monitoring aspects of bronze, but we give you remote assistance. So we look at those devices, we can monitor what's going on with them, we can activate third-party support, whether that's with us or whether it's with somebody else, and then we can actually do the adds, moves, changes, software updates. We produce monthly service reports and service reviews, and also we do firmware upgrades. So you can have up to 4 firmware upgrades a year. So we can actually identify the software that's needed, we can update it using our managed service, and then get those devices with new software running. And that operates on a business hours. So it's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Moving through to gold, gold is basically 24/7 by 365. So it's everything that you get with silver, but it's just a full 24-hour day, 365 days a year support package. So it allows you the ability to monitor that equipment out of normal business hours. So managed services with Kubus, we offer various packages that cover things like Wi-Fi, IoT. It can cover new or existing network. With new, it can be built into the overall design, so we can actually factor in managed services when we design the network. Or existing, we can onboard your existing network. So we can take the equipment that you have at the moment and onboard that into the managed service and manage that remotely. Obviously, there's an onboarding process. We need to look at documentation, how the network's being built. We'll comment on things like software versions and what we need to do to the network to get it to an onboard state. And then we start to manage it through a 1, 3 or 5 year contract. We provide proactive reporting, so the engineers can monitor the health of the network. They can look at what's going on. They can look at security advisories from the various manufacturers. And we can identify potential issues. So if we see something happening on a server, for example, we see that it's running out of disk space or whatever, we can highlight that to the customer. And we can then provide, or we can monitor alerts via the Meraki dashboard. The way that that works is we are an MSP of Meraki. If you've got an existing Meraki dashboard, you add us as a viewer to that dashboard, and then basically we're able to look at and make changes to it. So we actually see you within our hierarchy, and then we can just drill into the various devices within the network. There are 2 options for managed services, as I've said. The first one is purchasing a brand new environment. So the customer either purchases a new environment or we onboard an existing environment. The new network would be purchased via CapEx. So that would be an expenditure from the customer into us. We would design the network, we create the bill of materials and provide the deployment. That could be through our design process, but HLD, LLD, migration and all of that good stuff. We then onboard the environment into the managed service, and then we remotely monitor using the tools and also the engineers within the NOC. It's a monthly charge per device. So it's depending on the term of the contract, 1, 3, 5 years, we look at the number of devices, the type of devices, and it's a monthly charge based on the numbers. And you can mix and match. So for example, if you want bronze on certain devices and you want silver on another, we can create a tailor-made contract for you that matches your exact requirements. We can go across various different levels of support depending on the type of equipment. You get all the benefits, the monitoring, the third-party support, and also the fault investigation. And the customer owns the environment. You own the equipment that you purchase. It's all done via CapEx. It's your network. Option B changes that slightly, and this is for a new network. And this is all based on operational expenditure. So the monthly cost covers not only the managed service, it also covers the equipment itself. So one monthly charge gives you the equipment, the new network, and it also gives you the managed service. We also included the support as part of that. So everything that you need for the network is included in this single cost. And we've got predefined and verified designs from Meraki that cover various use cases. So it's pretty much dependent on the number of users and the type of equipment. There's some for Wi-Fi, there's others for sort of small networks, large networks, but it's all verified and validated by Cisco. And you can put the support as bronze, silver and gold. You can pretty much cover the various levels of support across these new networks, all for this monthly cost, including the hardware. It includes the adds, moves and changes, and as I say, also the proactive support, and the equipment is owned by the customer. It's like a leasing deal. The equipment is owned. When it comes to the end of that contract, the customer is actually paid for that equipment. We can put it onto the Cisco Green Lease, where we put in a new network at the end of the term, then it all carries on. The customer can make their own mind up what they want to do with that. Basically, the benefit of this is it just allows you to budget for your network and the management of the network under a single cost, so you know exactly how much that network is going to cost you for the next 1, 3 or 5 years. So in summary, I'm conscious of time. We offer various service levels for support and managed services, bronze for non-critical equipment, and then we look through the 24/7 support under gold. We also provide onboarding of existing environments, so we can take your existing network and bring it into our service, and we can do a mix and match. You know, if you've got a new area that you want to deploy as a new network, we can bring that under managed services along with other locations under management. We can outsource your BAU tasks, so if you've got lots of repetitive tasks, things like adds, moves, changes, adding users, VLANs, that sort of thing, you can outsource that into the managed service. We provide the proactive management and the 24/7 support. And all of this utilising the power of Meraki and the Meraki dashboard. So hopefully that's given you an overview. I know we're sort of quite tight on time. I'll pass back to Sophie and we'll see if we've got any questions. So thanks everyone for your time. I hope that was of use.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. We've had a couple of questions come into the chat. So the first one, I think you may have answered this, but can you manage a mixed vendor environment?
Yes, you can. So we would look at Meraki, obviously using the Meraki dashboard. If you had other vendor type equipment out there, we would put a probe in, and that probe would use standard SNMP type management. So it would look at all the devices. We would configure thresholds on each device. So for example, as I mentioned earlier, on servers, it might be disk usage, memory, CPU. On networking equipment, it might be port usage, CPU, memory, that sort of thing. So we would look at other mixed vendor devices.
Brilliant. One more. Is it possible to mix and match various tiers? So for example, critical hardware on a gold tier and non-critical on a silver or bronze?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So you basically, we don't come to you and say the whole network's got to be silver or the whole network's got to be gold. We sit down with the customer and we work out, we look at the equipment within the estate, the criticality of each piece of that or each piece of equipment, and then we build the contract around that. So you know, some customers don't really want to have gold service on things like access points because you've got coverage within the environment. If one dies, another one will take over. The network will still survive. They might just want to have bronze on that, and then we can actually bring that in. Or they might want silver on some locations and gold on things like head office or data center.
Brilliant, thank you. And one final question, can you deliver software updates out of hours on a silver tier package?
Yes, you can. Basically, we don't say to customers, just because you've got support in hours, we're engineers, right? You know, we've all been doing this a long time, members of the team. We understand that software updates can't be applied during business hours. So if you are on a silver contract and you need a software upgrade, we would schedule that with the customer at a time that suits them. So whether it's, you know, middle of the night, weekend or whatever, we will do that software upgrade as part of that silver contract. We won't say to customers on silver, it has to be at lunchtime on a Friday. It's scheduled in conjunction with the customer's requirements.